55, 56, 57. Call this regular session to order. Wednesday, October 17th. The time is 7:22. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, visitor comments. Please keep your talks to 5 minutes. Oh, Shauna, you got.
Steve Topaz, St. Helens Street. Two items on my agenda tonight. I was here at the work session, and two things were somewhat concerning. There was a discussion about having a management system for our vehicles by enterprise, to the point where preliminary discussions on contracts were coming. I did not hear any discussion that other proprietors of this type of effort were contacted. I find that a little bit disturbing, and we could possibly get in trouble for not having opened the bidding to other people. Second item, on the connector discussion, we have the great discussion of going up the hill by the sewer plant and then further down the street. I ride my bike, as everybody knows, and that hill is not to be taken lightly. I know that it's illegal to ride your bike, at least downtown, on the sidewalk, and yet that was proposed. So the proposed idea of riding the bike uphill, which is against the law and very difficult, should be very, very carefully looked at. Now, the problem with the rest of the connector system, at least down Plymouth, is way back when somebody made a grand design to limit the right-of-way for some reason. And because of that right-of-way limitation, sidewalks, bike lanes, and all have got to be readjusted as compared to continued from the first street. Nothing gives a town a third look as compared to changing street size on your main thoroughfare, and at one time or other, that will become our main thoroughfare. I think the properties on either side of the street, some of them will have to be brought up to bring the right-of-way to full width, and even if we have to build walls, trying to save money on not changing anything is going to cost us a lot way down the road, and since that will probably be the business Route 30 through town, we may have ODOT problems with right-of-way. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to address one of the first question you had about the enterprise fleet. And I'm going to actually turn it over to Matt because it was a process of a group that we belong to, and they won the national RFP, right?
Correct. Yeah,
and so it's already been pre-qualified, so to speak.
Enterprise won a national bid through a procurement office that we are a part of and join every year. So through that process, we're able to basically piggyback on the national RFP, so we don't have to go and we can expedite our process.
And that was said in that meeting today.
Yep. Yeah, I specifically,
yes, I want to specifically
had
make that clear that it was said in this meeting today.
Yes, I did hear that today. And I remember I asked a question about the marijuana when we were thinking of renting out the place, and I was told that the law and everything was okay, and it ended up it wasn't. So I will question whether we actually really do need to put 2 or 3 bids in before we do anything, even though we have some of these others in place. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
All I got to say is that's yet to be determined with your other part of your comment. And we'll see about that. The other visitor comments.
Shauna, I'm going to sit down. It's been a long day. I'm going. So, Shauna Harrison, St. Helens. I am commenting. I'd like to know when the exclusive agreement with Tonkala when it's up. I do think that there's a question about how much of the property they're going to encumber, and I think that that stuff needs to be made public in regards to that. I think they did a great presentation, all that stuff. One thing I'm concerned about, and I've said this from the get-go, is where we're at as an economy as a whole. And I realize that this isn't going to happen overnight. I realize that we're also going to put in a lot, as well as Tonkala is going to put in a lot in regards to developing this. But I really ask for you all. I mean, you guys have been kicking the dirt a little bit longer than I have, nothing personal, but you guys see the ebbs and flows of the economy. And there's a lot to be said about the interest rates that have been rising and the values of homes that are starting to finally start to level out, per se. One thing that the developers had mentioned, they had mentioned that housing prices aren't up to par for their development, something to that effect. So it would be really interesting to kind of see their scope of what they feel would be up to their specifications for where we're going to be once the development is up and running, per se. So the two biggest things definitely that I'm most concerned about is just how long we have to try to make it work with them. I realize you guys have a lot of other irons in the fire with it in regards to, funds that you guys have approved, grants and all that. So I realize that, they put a lot of time into it too, but this is going to be ours no matter what. So, if they're going to be taking title to property that the city bought, the community itself, I think we all have a right to kind of know how much of that land is going to be theirs and their development compared to everything else that's going on, because I know that that's not, it's just, this isn't all just exclusive to them. There's a lot of things that are going to happen to make this all work.
Yep.
So,
and a timeline too as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, of course. So those were just my biggest things in regards to, obviously I did a little bit of research on them. They're paying $56,000 in taxes in Gresham right now on one of their properties. So, obviously there is some, revenue to be made down the line. But, I don't have an appropriate analyzation to say up here, so I won't. But basically, it's all just cogs in motion till it all comes to transpire. And there's a lot going on as a whole that we don't control while that happens. And I just would really hate to see us end up holding the bag on something like South Waterfront during a time of a down market.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Other visitor comments? Patrick.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Yep.
Patrick Trapp, Deer Island, here from the Port of Columbia County slant, St. Helens, until all that comes into place. I just wanted to let you know that, or you may already know that the Port has designated commissioners which are liaison to each of our communities within the Port District. I have volunteered and been assigned for St. Helens, the city of St. Helens, so if you have any concerns, issues, or questions, of course you can contact any of the commissioners, but I'll be the designated liaison for the city to address some of those things. Great presentation today. I'm glad I attended for the waterfront. I think there is still a lot of mutual opportunity between the port and the city as we move forward. Also wanted to give you, to add on some of the good news as you look forward towards development, is the commission approved a lease today for a company, I've been in the paper, Dongcheng, which South Korean firm. It's going to be occupying one of the buildings here in St. Helens.
The bumper company.
The bumper company, that's
Yes.
right. So they'll be doing magnetic bumpers, hand assembled. So they're going to be going through a number of processes yet to be accomplished by their personnel, and in which point they will then assume the lease and looking at roughly up to 50 people being employed on that Milton Avenue
Nice.
property there.
Nice.
So short of that, that was our big thing for today's session. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to entertain those.
Can you explain magnetic bumpers?
There's a big magnet. It's the theory simple. You get enough magnets, opposites. I mean, the same polar, keeps them apart.
Yep.
Opposites attract. But Apparently, the focus is 30 to 40 mile an hour range. This isn't new. They've been using it in a variety of Asian countries and a number of other places.
And it's working.
And it's working. And
Yeah, there's
it's
supposed to be a
reduced
safety benefit, right?
Yeah, it's reduced traffic accidents significantly. Of course, I can't give you the exact numbers.
So the cars repel each other.
Right, theoretically. Now, my question
That'd be good.
is, of course, is what happens
if you
when
have
you...
one that's opposite?
My question is, if you walk by with your computer, does that delete everything? But,
Yes.
they've worked all that out right now, and it seems to be a success. This is looking at opening up a U.S. market for that. Interestingly enough, one of their individuals that came with them, their interpreter, was hired, brought down from the Seattle region. And one of the things he did indicate is after the tour of the region, to include Scappoose, St. Helens, and all the way through Clatskanie, is even though he's from Seattle area, he was quite impressed and had a completely different view how this region and this part of Oregon is filling a niche in innovation as we look at OMIC at the airport and a number of other things. And they were delighted to be a part of that and contribute, looking at their product, contributing towards that market too.
Now, come on, Patrick. You're supposed to be creating jobs, and
Up to
you're going to
50.
run
I
out.
hear.
You're going to run the body shop people out of business.
I know that sounds like there's going to be some boutique opportunities for them to be relocated elsewhere. So if you have no other questions, though, and again, I think most of you know how to reach me. If you do, please don't hesitate. Thank you
Okay.
very much. Glad you're here.
Patrick.
Brady Preheim, 195 Clark Street. I just want to say I think it was a great presentation. I'm very excited. I think it's really exciting that they are interested in developing here a little bit smaller than I'd hoped for. But 120, I was looking for a bigger hotel. And as long as they have a buffet, I'm great.
Thanks, Brady.
Should we write that in?
Here, should we synchronize our watch? I'm starting now. There we go. See if that timer really is the time. Hi, Patrick Berkeley, 254 South 14th Street. I'm here tonight because I couldn't be here this afternoon because I'm back at work, and do want to raise again a request that you strongly consider eliminating your afternoon work sessions and move to evening work sessions. Sessions. Again, in the research I've done, I'm not aware of other cities that have the same practice. Again, and even in a much larger city than Hillsborough, they have their work sessions an hour before their regular sessions. And I do think it would be important to make these meetings as accessible as possible. And I'm thinking especially now in this time when this great opportunity has been presented to St. Helens. I've been coming to the SSTAT. I've gone to practically every community forum there has been, and I am 100% enthusiastic about the possibilities that these developments can bring to our community. I don't know much about the details. I thought it was a great presentation. But I also think it is all the more important to continue being up public with the information. I think that some people do hear about things such as an exclusive negotiating agreement, exactly what that means, and so just that maybe people understand what that does entail. And I believe that in such agreements, there are going to be things that as the city negotiates with them, there are going to be things that you can make public and things you cannot due to the nature of the things. But I'm just hoping that everything you possibly can do to get information out as much as possible and in a timely manner, I think will be helpful in that. Related to that, though, I think I do share some concerns. What I do think has continues to be an issue, and this is something I've raised at previous meetings too, is given the public-private partnership that the city already is engaged in activities, and I think right now in the midst of Halloween Town is an example of that, where the city, it's a kind of a city festival, but we contract out to a private contractor to promote a lot of these activities, and there's still not a lot of clarity what that exact relationship is between the city and this organization. Again, for instance, on the discovercolumbiacounty.com website, there's the city logo. What exactly is that relationship? I think that also came out with controversy regarding whether or not Kimberly Brown would be returning to the city. I didn't care personally whether Kimberly Brown came or not. For me, Halloween Town is more more than that, and we're trying to develop activities which are not solely tied to star power. I mean, it's great that they can come. We have that connection. But what did trouble me is it did seem that in some of the reporting that was done and some of the other things that done, that it wasn't really clear how decisions were made between the E2C and the city regarding payment of money. And there seemed to be in some of the reports indication that there was communication by email and some decision making being done by email rather than in public forum. I don't know exactly what was behind that, but again, it seems kind of the not sure then if we have hired somebody to pay for activities, then why is the city being involved in specific financial decisions to pay this type of thing? And that's where I think that it's not clear where the tourism money is being used, how it's being used, and what exactly are the expenses to the city and the revenue. So in all these other activities that are occurring with Halloween Town, the Festival of Fairies, these events in which stars from shows are receiving autographs and stuff, what is it may help local business, it may help, what is the return to the city? What are the real costs to the city in time and resources for putting these things together, and what return do we get? So I think that's still, it's not clear to me, and I'm not sure it's real clear to other people yet exactly what that relationship is and how that private partnership works.
One thing I will say is that we actually discussed what you were saying was in an email was actually in this meeting. Yeah, I want to make that clear. And we all felt that it was out of reach at the time. And then through a guy named Craig Marquetto, who reached out kind of around everybody and got in touch directly with Kimberly J. Brown, who found out she wasn't coming. And, I'm really not coming. We were able to actually rekindle that. And I said, as mayor, made a decision that if it was identical or close enough to identical as last year, then we would go ahead with it. And it actually was. So it actually was a little bit less. So that being said, that's how that all played out. Wasn't no big secret. Any other visitor comments? Okay. Resolution number 1830, a resolution determining that a nuisance exists upon property located at 115 Little Street within the city of St. Helens, and directing that a notice to abate the nuisance be posted and on said premises. If you're not familiar with this one, it's the one that burnt and it's probably sitting there, I'm fairly sure. Is that right? Yep. And that's here.
Move we adopt resolution number 1830.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution number 1830. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, approve and authorize for signature. A, request for proposal for wayfinding signage. B, letter of agreement with Columbia Pacific Coordinated Care Organization for $20,000 award. C, intergovernmental agreement with Scappoose Rural Fire Protection District for fire, life, and safety plan review services and inspections. And D, ratify memorandum and understanding of AFSME, big long acronym, for communication officer wage scale.
Move we approve and authorize for signature 5A through D.
Second?
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve A5 through D. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, appointments. I know we had a few. Susan?
Yep. The library board recommends appointing Lisa Beardley, Patrick Berkeley, and Becky Bean to 3 of our open positions for
Patrick?
to replace Barbara Lines, Nancy Heron, and Marcia Caton.
So,
Second that motion.
okay.
Oh, motion. I move. Sorry.
Okay, so a motion's been made and seconded to approve Lisa Beardsley,
Patrick Berkeley and Becky Bean.
Patrick Berkeley, and Becky Bean. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, consent agenda for acceptance. A, Parks Commission minutes dated August 13th, 2018. B, Planning Commission minutes dated September 11th, 2018.
Move to
Move.
accept consent agenda 7A and B.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve consent agenda 7A and B. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, consent agenda for approval. A, City Council session, executive session, public hearing, and regular session minutes dated September 19th and October 3rd, 2018. B, accounts payable bill list.
I move we approve consent agenda 8A through B, or 8A and B, as read.
Second.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve consent agenda 8A and B as read. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I don't have a whole lot to report. It was, I think Halloween Town is going right now. It's in full. You're seeing people out there on the daily. We were sitting in here running our council, and there must have been probably 25 to 30 people out there all day. They're constantly in that square. And I noticed plates from Idaho, Washington, California. And we estimate to date that there's probably about 15,000 to date, which is that's not bad. I would like to think it was 17,000 so we could have 1,000 a day average, but that's not too
Where are you
bad.
going to put them?
So, and then we also discussed, if you're watching tonight, that we discussed about approving a later burn season because of the burn ban. So, and we'll keep you posted on that and make sure we put public notice out for that. That's all I have to report on. Council President Morton.
Well, today I reported on the update on the Veterans Plaza, and I just want to give everyone a remembrance that on November 11th at 11 a.m. We'll have our Veterans Day ceremony at McCormick Park at the new Veterans Plaza. It's about 85% finished and just a bit behind, so I encourage everyone to be there. It's been a collaborative project between the city, the veterans, and Lower Columbia Engineering. Very successful. Now, on another note, I toured Sand Island, and again, when I go over there, I went over there with a trash bag, and I came back with no trash. And it was so, that's the second time I've done that in the last 2 months. And it's so encouraging to see that. why, when we take trash cans away from a park, does it clean up? It's interesting. And there were a lot of boats over there for the Spook Cruise from Portland. People are taking pride in their parks, and especially that marine park. And I guess this would be an appropriate time to just ask John where we're at on the contract. I seem to do this every time, but I'm going to continue to ask where we're at on the contract with the negotiations for our St. Helens Marina owner to oversee Sand Island camping and shuttle and policing as well of that facility and that park.
Yeah, I'd be happy to respond to that. We do have a draft contract. I did distribute it to council via email.
Yep.
We're the owners of representatives of the marina have a copy of that. They've discussed it, and we're trading drafts at this point. So
we're that close, it sounds like.
Yeah.
You're getting closer. We at least, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, because it's going to be an exciting venture to go forward with that, allowing our residents in our city to take a shuttle. Actually, haven't discussed all the prices. That's going to probably be in the contract. But I would say for $5, you can take a shuttle over, and it'll bring you back for day use, and allow you to take a picnic over, enjoy a marine park that's going to be on a level of any state park. And that's why I'm kind of pushing to get this going, because Brad Hendrickson at the marina wants to get going on the design, on the trails, and on the campgrounds as soon as possible, so they're ready to go late spring and early summer for next year for the camping season. I'm excited about that. Very excited.
You know, that's a great point, is that it's easier to do trail stuff this time of year because everything's dropped its leaves, and the blackberries. There's a lot of blackberries. There's a lot of actually obnoxious weeds over there too, as well, with the blackberry situation. But it manages itself barely. I say barely because it does seem like it's gotten out of control since Councilor Locke used to take.
It's going to get crazy real fast if we're taking care of it.
Yes, so it's right at that cusp. If it's not addressed soon, then it will be.
Thank you, John, for following up on that. Appreciate
sure,
it.
yeah, it's,
Okay, Councilor Khan.
I don't think I have anything to add to this afternoon's report, except that I'd like to say that was an estimate. Don't hold us to it. We don't know what the charge is going to be. We think it'll be about that. That's it.
Okay. Councilor Carlson.
Right.
Exactly. Thanks for saying that.
I said most everything, but it bears repeating. This Friday's first teen night for the rec program at the new rec center there on 18th Street and Old Portland Road. It's 5 to 7. It's free for the kids to come and play and have snacks and be friends. And I'm just really excited about this opportunity when the weather starts turning and kids have precious little to do. So I think a couple hours to see some friends and have some good times is pretty good use of a Friday night. So I look forward to seeing in the green building on 18th and Old Portland Road until it has an official sign. That's all I have.
Thank you. The newly green building.
Yeah, newly green
Yes.
building.
Yes, formerly was red. Councilor Locke.
I'd just like to thank Jenny and Tokla for putting on a fine presentation before our meeting, and thank the 50 or so people that were here to watch it, although we have another 13,000 out there that weren't here to watch it. So I'd like to recommend that we have lots of these things copied and maybe taken around to the restaurants in town so that more people could see the presentation and look at it. And
The build grant or the video?
Just this presentation thing that we put on. I mean,
Isn't it online? Are we going to have it
well,
online?
it is online, yes, but like see it printed and put it in restaurants so people can actually get their hands on it, because not everybody goes online and not everybody sees social media and all that stuff. So we just need to really try and get it out there to everybody.
Yes, and I think that would be, I think we also should continue to look, I'm going to pony off of what you're kind of saying, look at what Eric, I can't, his last name is,
Canar, I believe.
was proposing to draw us up a book for 2020, a visioning of St. Helens. Actually, it'd be more beyond 2020, it'd be a 2030.
Oh, Jensen.
Yeah, Jensen, Eric Jensen. I knew that wasn't right. So I think that would be worth a lot to be able to hand a person a book.
That's true, but that's vision. This is reality. This is going to happen.
Oh, absolutely. No.
And everybody needs to know that this is going to happen, because they're out there waiting and questioning us. So they need to know
in
it's
the
going to
short
happen.
term, I'm sure Crystal can promote it with her usual vehicles.
I do
You
have the
know, I
clicker
saw
right
the
here,
links.
too.
I saw the links get shared while I was
Hour.
out.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right. Chief Greenway.
Nothing to report, Mr. Merrill, from this afternoon's meeting.
Okay.
Nothing for me.
Okay. Matt, nothing? Nothing? All right, John.
I got to say something. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a great presentation. I think it really resonated with a lot of people today. As far as updates, we have, the spirit of Halloween Town it feels different this year. My observation, and I think that's a good thing. It's kind of gravitated from this almost a flash mob kind of thing where people come in, get in, and then they leave real quick. And throughout its success, we've kind of tried to build shoulders with that, spread them out, keep them here, have more activities, events to hold them, and have a good experience, and not just come in and get in, get out. And things like the Ferry Festival of the Ferries has, it's been a little bit. There's been some controversy about some of the elements of that, but really that's been the economic engine that's really driven the success of the whole event, and from a financial perspective. People are coming for. We're having pumpkin lightings every weekend. There's the last week when we had the stars here, it wasn't that big mob, but there was financially it was as good a day as there's ever been. There were people spread out throughout the day. They came. They didn't stay late into the night, but the dockside, two C's, there's record sales, and this coming up weekend there'll be the characters from Grimm. That's kind of new and different. That should be fun. The last weekend of the month there'll be the group wedding, which I think is, there's a real wedding where people can actually get married and they're all dressed up, and it's sold out. And
10 couples were going to be getting married by Calabar.
And their entourages are all going to be doing the real deal, and then there's a vow renewal thing that goes along also with that, and just fun, creative, and good things, and really just putting us on the map as a destination for Halloween, and it's a good thing. So we were selected to participate in an international conference on remediation and management of contaminated sediments. Sounds really exciting. It's an international conference, and St. Helens Waterfront Redevelopment was selected to give a presentation at this conference. So we have 20 minutes on the main stage in New Orleans in February. Kind of a big deal, and it's as dry as the subject matter might sound. I think it is kind of a testament of what the work we're doing here. So,
yeah,
I might have to stick around till February.
You get,
And watching people Saturday, it seems like the Halloween Town people are here for St. Helens, not for the celebrities. I think that's the difference. People are interested in looking at our infrastructure, what we had here, that weren't necessary. There were people here on Saturday that did not come to see celebrities at all. And that's a big switch from 3 years ago where everyone out there had taken a turn in the line. So that's a big difference, and that's a sustainable difference that I'm very encouraged by. That people are here to see what cute little shops, what cute little restaurants. This place is amazing. Yep. They had no interest in the Halloween Town movie, had never seen it, and weren't here for a celebrity photo. And that's a change. That's a change from 3 years ago.
There is still, it's still a
There's
few
still
though.
some,
There
but I
is still
mean,
a few
the
that-
majority, is I was concerned having been down here, and
Yeah.
having been part of Halloween Town for 7+ years, and having see that group grow and being afraid that when the interest went in the celebrity, that we'd be right back where we were 5 years ago. And I just don't see that happening. I think there's going to be a new normal, and I think that's encouraging.
Well said.
Sorry.
Yep, that was my point. So
I thought that's where you were going.
that's all I have. So.
Okay. So we're going to, any go backs? We're going to adjourn, but we're going to be going into executive session here in a minute. So if you're not media, you are asked to leave, please. Or staff.
We're not kicking everybody.
Yes, I'm out. Nope, you said.